Hello, everyone. Welcome back to what is a very exciting episode of the Fuel for Thought podcast, because the British Grand Prix 2024 was definitely the best race of the season.
Oh, yeah.
And I know we said that in Canada.
I was going to say that, actually, and I was worried that people would say I was biased.
But no, I mean, because of the racing, the change of the lead,
Yeah.
the battles, and it being between like three different teams.
You just didn't know who was going to win, basically, the whole time.
Two of the teams had like two drivers fighting for it. And
Yeah.
then the end result, especially, and we can be, I suppose, a little bit biased because it's like British Grand Prix, British driver wins, sets a new record, sets loads of records, in fact.
Yep.
Quite more than one, extends his win record. And yeah, there's so much that happened for us to talk about.
True. I think the British Grand Prix is also really big because there is multiple drivers that are British. So
There's technically three, but there is four.
Yeah, and next season there'll be four and a half,
Yeah.
5, with Ollie Behrman, and that will span over 5 different teams, basically. So it's only going to get bigger, and I think that's what makes it so special as well. But Will's got his jacket on. He's come straight from the garage.
Part of the team now.
He's got his Mercedes jacket
I wore
on.
it for this, but I think the bit's over now. I'm going to take it off because it's kind of warm.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looks like you, I don't know, why you're wearing a jacket inside. Anyway.
But yeah, Alex Albon is actually British.
Yeah, I know.
But he's proud of his Thai heritage,
Yeah.
obviously racing under the flag, which is cool. But yeah, where should we start? I mean,
Good question.
even qualifying was good, so I guess we
Yeah.
could start there.
So I watched qualifying with the sound off, so I didn't have any commentary.
Yeah, I watched it.
But I'll let you take the lead on qualifying.
It was great. I mean, obviously Mercedes won too. I was very excited about that. And it happened kind of at the last minute as well. And it was a wet qualifying, which finished dry, but it was sort of like the whole, who's the last to put in a lap, and then the track evolving over time as they get onto the dry tyres. So Max almost went out in Q2. He
Okay.
was like, I think he went through in like 14th in the end.
I did see that because I saw him as a driver at risk. Yeah.
And
So what happened to Max?
he just put in a lap at the wrong time, I think.
Okay.
But also...
Was Q2 rain? It was raining in Q2? Or was that just in Q1?
I think mostly in Q1, I believe. It rained on and off, so like the times got slower and quicker and slower and quicker.
Okay.
But also, just to rewind a bit, from Max, the main incident of qualifying was Perez.
Yeah, that's why I knew it was raining in Q1 because
Yes.
he spun out.
Yeah, he beached himself in the gravel.
Yeah.
And Max did the same thing, except he drove through the gravel. It was on the same corner.
I saw that too.
But he drove through it really quickly, and it damaged a lot of the underside of his car, which I think is why he didn't qualify as well. Why, probably contributed towards him almost going out Q2. But also, why he wasn't challenging for pole. Mm-hmm. But
Yeah, pole Q3 was very exciting because it was a mixture between the 3 British drivers, and in the end, it was the 3 British drivers that ended up on top: Russell, Hamilton, and Lando. So
yeah, Russell looked mega in qualifying, and
Yeah.
I know he's missed a Saturday famously, but yeah, you just like you could tell after Hamilton put in his lap in his provisional, you were like, yeah, Russell's just gonna pip it, I think, and he did, and yeah, Mercedes won too.
yep, very exciting
Brilliant.
for Mercedes fans. That's it's been a long time since they've been 1-2 in
Yeah,
qualifying. I
it's
couldn't
like-
tell you the last time.
Yeah, I mean, if you showed someone that, you went back in time to 2021 or 2020, show someone that, and you were like, yeah, of course.
Yeah,
Like, it's, nothing would have changed, but a lot's changed since then, so.
even the beginning of the season, you wouldn't.
Oh, yeah.
You wouldn't have
They were
believed that,
nowhere,
really.
weren't they? But they're back.
Yep.
Yeah.
back.
2 wins in a row.
Yeah.
And
They've shared it between them. That's nice.
This
of them.
week was on merit as well.
Yeah. Yeah, but last week still.
Yeah, but one thing is, like, they were definitely not in the fight last week.
No, yeah, I know what you mean, because this week was purely because of the car and the driver
Exactly.
rather than the luck that's happened. But
And it's always a track that suits Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah.
And Mercedes' car.
yep,
So it's no surprise. It's a crazy stat of something like he's had 12 consecutive podiums at Silverstone in a
Yeah.
row. So that's what consecutive means.
consecutive in a row.
Yeah.
Yep,
Which is ridiculous.
150 podiums now. These are ridiculous. And what did Ted Kravitz say? He said he's the only driver that has had a win in 16 seasons.
Yeah.
He's been driving for more than 16 seasons, obviously, but
It's 18 now.
yeah, so he's had the most seasons with a win. If that makes
I
sense.
suppose that's like because he previously had a win in every season he raced and was the only driver to do that. But then he lost that, unfortunately, in 2022. And then 2023 he didn't get a win either.
Yep.
And now, so it's just like one step down from that, but it's still impressive.
Yep. Anyway, we've moved on to the race.
But
Still
yes,
wanted to talk about qualifying.
You know which fans weren't happy in qualifying?
Alpine,
Ferrari. And specifically Charles Leclerc fans. His pain continues.
P11, not good.
Mm.
How come he was in P11? I kind of missed that as well.
Again, I think just got unlucky with putting in a lap at the right time. Just couldn't put it together.
The rain.
Just got caught out.
Okay. Yeah, that's not great. We'll move on to the race in a bit, but yeah, I have a few things to say about Ferrari this weekend.
Yeah.
Logan Sargent got through to Q2.
He did.
Well done, Logan.
Yep. And his teammate got through to Q3.
Yep.
Starting in P9.
Very good from Williams.
Yeah.
Lance Stroll did pretty well. Qualified P8.
But not as well as Nico Hulkenberg.
No, not as well as
Qualified
Nico Hulkenberg.
P6.
Yeah. He's
Brilliant.
doing really well. But Lance Stroll's beaten Alonso a couple of times in a row now.
Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening there.
No. We obviously say these things about Lance Stroll and the Aston Martin seat, but at the moment he is kind of...
Yeah, but I think it's more of also the fact that they're not really anywhere. And so
Okay.
it's like, can you judge when they're not fighting for anything or much anyway?
Yeah, I feel like you still can because he is
guess so.
still beating Alonso at the moment.
Yeah. Yeah. But
Anyway.
it's more of a meh storyline, isn't it?
Yeah, I suppose.
And then, of course, you had Alpine, who were dreadful. Effectively net last on the grid.
Yep.
Because, Gasly had a 50 place grid penalty for changing 5 different parts outside of the allocation.
Yep.
So that just defaulted him to the back of the grid.
I can't believe that even a thing. I saw a picture on Twitter where they had a picture of him starting in France. That's how they were like, yeah, Pierre Gasly is starting the race from here.
Yeah. And the only person that Ocon beat was Perez, who crashed out.
Yeah.
So I think they just got it wrong with Ocon. So for all intents and purposes, they were last. Apart from Perez.
Yeah. It's just not surprising with Perez anymore, is it?
No, it's same as last year.
Yeah.
As well. I've seen some people saying that they've offered him, they've shown him loyalty, offered him this extension. So like, right, pressure's off. Can you perform? And he hasn't. So now they're sneaking little like breadcrumbs into the media of like Perez under pressure. Could he be replaced? And it's like now they're trying the opposite.
Yeah. Look, we saw how cutthroat they were with the with AlphaTauri last year, and they swapped out Nick De Vries with Liam with Daniel Ricciardo.
Historically done that.
Exactly, and I don't think it's going to be any different. I think they've been really lenient with Perez at the moment.
Well, I think they learned from the Pierre Gasly replacement because I think they were too hasty with him. And then Albon, they gave a season and a half after that.
Yeah, but Perez has had his time.
Exactly, and then they're I think they're being more patient than they have in the past.
Yeah, which is quite shocking for Red Bull. I didn't expect it. But someone commented, I had a comment on Instagram, and someone said they don't reckon that Perez will come back after the summer break. Bold statement.
Well, there's already whispers of Ricardo maybe switching.
Yep.
So and then Lawson as well. You've got.
Yeah. Well, I think what would be good is if Ricardo had half a season at Red Bull, see how he gets on,
and then Lawson steps into the Alpha.
Yeah.
The RB.
RB.
And then Perez is just out.
Yeah, but if Daniel Ricciardo doesn't perform this season in the Red Bull,
Yeah.
I think he has potential to be out as well by the end of the season.
Yeah, does he deserve to be in a Red Bull? I think that's the other issue they had, is that with Gasly, they had Albon.
Yeah.
They could just switch them around. But this year, it's like, Tsunoda's started off the season strong, but he's not looked spectacular.
Or they could put Tsunoda in the Red Bull.
They could do.
And give him a trial run. But I think they would want to see how Ricciardo gets on the Red Bull.
I think they want a more mature driver.
Yeah.
He's a bit hot-headed.
Exactly,
Tsunoda.
yeah. I would love to see that. I think you know that. But I just hope that if Daniel is put in that Red Bull, that he performs well.
Right, shall we, I guess we should move on to the race.
Yeah.
Yeah?
Big event as per. I thought the national anthem was really good. It was
good.
sung by Hannah, I don't know her last name, but she's a great actress and apparently a great singer as well.
Apparently, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if that's got something to do, like they had Damian Lewis do it last year.
Yep.
Which was an odd choice, but it's another actor.
Yeah.
So I wonder if it's something to do with the film.
Potentially. Yeah, because didn't they have, just before the formation lap, they had the two cars from the film at the back. And Brad Pitt was also filming this weekend, right?
Yes. It was very odd. Like, he's like joining in, pretending to be one of them.
Yeah.
Acting alongside them, doing their media duties.
Yeah.
Odd to see.
Have you seen the trailer for the film?
I have. I mean, it looks good in the sense that they're trying to make it real.
Yeah.
They're not using the old V8 sounds in place. So they're using the proper sounds at the proper times. They're filming it on location. I always like that instead of CGI and
same.
everything like that.
And I like the camera angles as well. Like in the trailer, you see the camera on the car that Brad Pitt's driving. I think it's an F3 car,
F2 car. I think.
And I like the way that they use the cinematic.
Yes.
Camera angles and stuff.
So it's caused some controversy because people just love to complain about everything. And mate, it's not. From a viewer's perspective, it might, maybe it's a bit irritating with it interfering with the sport side of it. But at the same time, everyone's professional, everyone's doing their jobs. It's become this massive media product anyway at the end of the day, and that's why it's as big as it is these days. So I don't have an issue with it, really.
I don't think it really interfered that much with the day.
No.
Yeah.
No, I saw a couple comments, people upset that he's joining in with the media pen duties at the end of the race while other drivers are upset about their performance. But at the end of the day, everyone's a professional,
Yeah.
It's not like...
But that's always going to happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like people will complain if the film's not realistic.
No, exactly.
So it's like it's two sides of a coin, really.
And that's what a lot of complaints about these racing films are, is that they're not realistic. So I think they're trying to make a huge effort to make them realistic.
Yeah.
In the trailer, the only questionable comment was the first line, or the first bit of dialogue, where he was like, "We've got to build a car for combat," and then the woman's like, "Oh, but how do I do that safely?" And he's like, "Who said anything about safe?"
Yeah.
It's like there's safety regulations, and safety is a massive part of F1.
I was quite surprised by that
It's
because it is the main point of how F1 runs nowadays. It's purely for safety reasons.
It is a big sort of front part that's talked about a lot.
Yeah, I'm surprised F1 were happy with that line, but never mind.
Who knows? But I think apparently Lewis Hamilton's going to act in it.
Oh, okay. He's producing it, directing it.
Yeah, I think he's
One
probably
of
an
them.
executive producer, which just means they ask him his opinion.
Oh, okay. That's fair. He's got a lot of experience, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Anyway.
Anyway, yeah, we digress. Brad Pitt
realised we were
aside,
talking about
he
the film
wasn't
a
in
lot.
the race.
Yeah. Yeah, on to the race.
So, I was with the two Mercedes at the front. I was quite nervous about the rain in the end because before I was like, "Oh, wet race would be brilliant," and it was brilliant, to be fair.
Yeah.
But because they were so close together, they had to double stack. And actually, I was nervous about Max and Lando behind because up until this race, they've been way quicker, and I thought they were just gonna sweep them up, both overtake both Mercedes, and that'll be it. But actually, they controlled that first stint really nicely.
Yeah.
There's about a 3 second gap between George and Lewis, and then a 3 second gap between Lewis and Lando or Max.
Well, Max overtook Lando, and then Lando overtook Max back.
Yeah.
So, and then Oscar overtook Max. Mm-hmm. So Max didn't have a great first stint. The reason I was quite nervous about the rain was because obviously George out front, he's kind of, when you're the front runner, you're like the decision maker of a lot of things.
Yeah, and other people are going to learn from your mistakes.
Exactly, and yeah, I also just worried about sliding out, which Lewis and George did at one point.
They did both went off.
They both went off in
Do
the
you know
same
what, though?
place.
Oh, it's very impressive, and it shows the experience and talent, not talent in the wet difference between Lewis and George, I think.
Yeah.
Because as soon as it got a bit slippery, Lewis just overtook him.
Yeah, he
and
caught up very quickly.
Was, very skillful in those conditions.
Yeah.
So that was impressive. I think that just comes down to experience, I guess.
Yeah. I find it so interesting that the drivers are the ones that make the decisions when to move on to inters. They can just sense it in the car when it's the right amount of kind of water on track, really.
Yeah. But I say experience. Lando took both of them when it got wet.
But that's just because the McLaren just heats up the tyres better. So as the race went on, their tyres were just better because the McLaren is better at keeping their tyres warm. Yeah. Because Oscar also took...
Yeah, Oscar got both of them too. It was
Yeah.
McLaren 1-2 then, Mercedes 3-4, and then
Yeah.
Max fell way back in the end, didn't he? And he's
Yeah.
meant to be really good in the wet.
Yeah.
So it does also come down to the car. But I suppose if you're judging the drivers in the same car, then Lewis versus George.
Experience does matter at that point.
Yeah. So it was really cool to see, especially as they were going for turns 3 and 4, like that village area before the straight.
Yeah.
And all the cars together sliding around those corners, and it was great.
I think at that point, Ferrari made the wrong call. It was
When don't
Ferrari, Ferrari, Alpine, and
Perez. I think Perez was just a sacrificial lamb at that point.
But I just don't think that's necessary, though, is it? Because Max obviously...
No, but they didn't have much to lose, did they? Really,
No, true. But as I said, the drivers know when to call for inters, and Max is quite good in the wet as well. Max is good in all weathers, so I don't think they need Perez to test out whether it's inters weather or not.
I think they do know, but also some of the drivers towards the back maybe are less sure, especially if they're not on form, they're second guessing themselves.
Yeah.
Maybe they're like, oh, if you think I inters, then yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. It was pretty disappointing for Charles because he'd made his way up from P11 to P7, I think. And then they made the call for him to go on inters. I think that was purely Ferrari's call rather than Charles's.
Yes. Had to have been.
Because they told him it was going to get a lot worse, I think, from his radio. And yeah, he went down to, I think at that point he was P17 or something.
Was it they lost 20 seconds, which is the amount of time lost in a pit stop, in 3 laps, staying on the inters, just when they could have taken their losses.
Whereas with Esteban, they made that decision, but then they also made the decision to go back to slicks. But then, then there was another rain shower, so yeah. But at least Alpine went back to slicks, but wasn't great.
It's always exciting seeing that strategy of slicks to inters to slicks, and who blinks first.
Yeah. I think Ferrari and Red Bull were kind of on the same wavelength with that, because Carlos was, maybe Charles was the sacrificial lamb as well.
Yeah, when they've both only really had one driver in the race.
Yeah.
So, yeah, but it meant they didn't have to double stack, which is where McLaren made their first mistake.
Yeah, I know Oscar would have probably had to have sat in the pit lane for a couple of seconds if they double stacked.
But he lost way more time than that.
Exactly.
Like, yeah, George lost a couple places.
Yeah.
Because he had, they double stacked. But, I would say, like, pit stop is 20 seconds. By the time Oscar made it round for his pit stops, Lando was coming past him again. Like, he lost almost 20 seconds in the extra lap.
Yeah, exactly. I think McLaren made the wrong call there.
No, there's no doubt about it.
Yeah, definitely. I think they made the wrong call with Lando's going on soft tyres.
Oh, yeah.
But that was Lando's decision, actually.
Well, we'll talk about that.
Okay, we'll talk about that in a bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, yeah, after that first round of pit stops onto the Inters, Lando kept it pretty solid in front, but it didn't really extend the gap much. So it was kind of like...
It's like 1.5 seconds.
Yeah, so it was him, Hamilton, Max,
Yep.
then George, and then heartbreak for GR. Just out of nowhere, retired.
So George Russell is the recipient of the home race curse.
Yeah,
Because
I guess so.
one of them's got to have it. There's always a home race curse. 2 out of the 3 British Grand Prix he's driven with Mercedes, he has DNF'd.
Yeah,
which is
2 out of the last 3 years.
Yeah. Sad.
Yeah, and it was like a water pump or water...
Yeah, he had like a
Something
water pump
issue.
leak, yeah. After a great start to the weekend as well, obviously getting pole position. I think as well, a lot of the time, George is kind of forgotten, or like not forgotten, but he's not as prominent to the British public as Lewis Hamilton and Lando Norris, because I think obviously Lewis Hamilton is a British classic driver, and
the goat of British motorsport.
Yeah, exactly. And Lando Norris is the up and coming British driver in a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah, he's probably the best British driver right now.
Yeah.
So he is the second best driver on the grid at the moment,
yeah.
statistically on the championship. So
Yes. But then I think that means that George Russell kind of is overshadowed a little bit. I think George Russell's an excellent driver.
Yeah, he is.
I don't necessarily think he's as good as Lando Norris at the moment. But him getting pole, I was really happy that he could like show everyone in Britain how good he was and how quick he was and the amount of potential he had. So yeah, I was pretty disappointed to see him DNF.
It's all relative in F1, right? Like, and they always say like the only real metric you have to compare to is your teammate. And when he's out qualifying Hamilton 10-2 at the moment, you know that he's an elite driver.
Yeah.
Especially when Hamilton's 39, but he's still capable of winning races and putting in a convincing performance when he's got the car. Mm-hmm. And he is obviously the greatest of all time. So for George to do that and still be ahead of Lewis in the championship by only a point now, that's because he DNF'd.
Yeah.
But, you got to think that if he was in the same car as a Max or a Lando, then he would definitely bring the fight to them.
Yeah, for sure.
I know some people would disagree with that, but...
I don't.
No.
I think Mercedes are on an upward trajectory now. They've proven that the last few races. I don't know what's happened to Ferrari, but it's kind of a fight between the three teams now. And that actually reminds me, it's now 6 different drivers. 6 or 7 now.
6.
I don't know if I saw it before or after the race. 6 different drivers have won this season out of 12 races.
It's Max, Carlos, Lando, George, Lewis, Charles.
Yeah.
Not in that order, but yeah.
Which is extremely exciting for F1. I think if someone's going to get into F1, this season will definitely make someone get into F1.
Yeah, this has been the best season since 2021, but also it's been arguably more exciting race to race. Because
Yes.
2021, yes, on paper it was a great season because obviously it came down to the last race, 2 drivers fighting for it. But at the same time, the first part of the season, Lewis just won a bunch of races in a row. The middle part, Max won loads of races in a row. And at the end was probably the most exciting because it was Lewis catching up, but then it was just kind of like him winning a few in a row, and then the last few races were getting like feisty. Like the Middle East races were really entertaining.
Yeah.
Because it was aggressive and they were fighting and that. But like race to race, like over the course of the season, it wasn't as exciting as these last few races have been so far.
Yeah.
So if the season continues like this, it'll be better than 2021.
Definitely.
Race to race, you know.
And because obviously the British Grand Prix, there was 5 drivers that could have won.
Yeah.
Like technically, obviously George was never going to win because his car had that fault.
Well, no, but I mean, like Carlos was probably the least likely of them to win.
Yeah. No, my 5 drivers are the 2 McLarens, 2 Mercedes, and Max
So technically there were 6 then.
Yeah, I suppose, but
He was quick.
yeah, I just don't think he was in contention for the win.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was so exciting. You just didn't know who was going to win. Obviously, there was 5 different races. Yeah, they were all leading the race at one point. Was Max? Max wasn't.
No.
4 different race leaders. Exciting.
Fantastic. Yeah. So yes, that second stint, and then the third one when they went back onto dries, Red Bull got it right.
Yeah.
In fact, Red Bull got it really right because we saw at the start of the race, the soft runners, they decked really quickly. Like Ocon and Ricardo, or was it Sonoda? Or
I don't think.
couple of the drivers down towards the back of the grid were on softs, and they were struggling very, very quickly. I think Red Bull had the experience to see that.
Yeah. And Paris started on hard tyres, so maybe they saw the data from that. But I think it was only because Max had new hard tyres and he didn't have any new other tyres.
Yeah. Okay, but yeah, I mean, the hards paid off.
Yeah.
Well, everyone thought McLaren would go mediums. It made sense. Like, the soft was bad. Mediums were good at the start of the race. They didn't have to use any other compound because it was a wet race.
Yeah.
Surely mediums.
Yeah. And the amount of laps left, mediums made the most sense as well.
Yeah. And Mercedes only went soft because they didn't have any mediums.
Yeah. I think if Max had mediums, he probably would have gone on mediums. But because he had that hard compound tyre and the softs were just degging so quickly, that's the reason why he was able to catch them up. But as I was saying earlier on the radio, they were asking Lando, do you want to cover off Verstappen with the medium tyres, or do you want to cover off Hamilton with the soft tyres? Yeah,
and obviously the way that they phrase that, you're obviously going to want to cover off the guy in the lead.
Exactly. But in the end, the soft tyres didn't cover off either of them.
Just disadvantaged him.
Yeah.
So, I want to talk about McLaren here. So,
okay.
They haven't won a Constructors' Championship this century since the 90s.
Wow.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So, like, in 08, they didn't win it because they got disqualified from the Constructors. And then they haven't won a championship since then.
Why did they get disqualified in 2008?
Because of Spygate and a disgruntled Ferrari engineer gave him a bunch of data.
Okay.
To give him a massive folder of Ferrari data.
I did not know this.
Yeah, they got fined 100 million and disqualified from the constructors for it.
I think they deserve that disqualification.
But they didn't disqualify the drivers because they cooperated.
Yeah.
And they weren't really a part of it.
Yeah. Obviously, that was a long time ago, so McLaren are very different now.
Yeah, so... they haven't won a Constructors this century. So they're not a team that's kind of got that winning experience to draw from. So what this reminded me of is Russia 2021, where they did the same thing. They were like, Lando, do you want a box? When it started raining, when he was in the lead, going to win his first race. And he was like, no, because he didn't want to lose the lead of the race. He wasn't experienced.
Yeah.
And obviously they weren't ruthless enough as a team who had all the data to be like, get in the pits now, which Mercedes did, which Red Bull did, and they did the same here. They were like, they don't let the drivers and ah about it. They just go, right, we've got the data, this lap is the lap to pit, you're going on to the we think this is the best tyre.
Yeah, but as I was saying earlier, the best people to make the decision about whether to go on wet tyres is the drivers, because they're the ones that's feeling it is out there, feeling how the car is, and
Wets, yes, but obviously they were coming on to dries that lap anyway. That wasn't the question. It's more of the fact that they don't make the decision for the drivers enough. It doesn't seem from a spectator's point of view that they're ruthless enough to make the decision and make the winning decisions.
Yeah, it was just surprising they said to him, would you prefer to cover Verstappen or Hamilton? Because surely McLaren, if Lando's leading the Grand Prix, McLaren should be like, right, we're going to win this Grand Prix. We're going to cover off. Although they said the softs would cover off Hamilton, who was behind Lando, and that is the wrong choice, they should be covering off the potential next leader.
Well, he was behind him. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah. But it's surprising their data showed them that. But also his pit stop wasn't good.
It wasn't
good.
Good.
Around a little bit.
And they pitted a lap too late.
Yeah.
So got it wrong on all accounts, really.
Yeah, I think this is a good, a good debate, I guess, because I do think it's important for drivers to have their say about the decisions that are made, but also at the same time, I do agree that the team are looking at all the data and they can see that everything that's going on and they can predict what's going to happen and all of this. So they should definitely take the final stand. But that's probably why Lando was so disappointed in himself, because he was the one that made the call, even though he didn't have the data in front of him.
Yeah, it's a team mistake at the end of the day, but they've got people on the pit wall whose jobs it is to make these strategies and make these calls and look at the data and decide. They've links back to the factory even, and people were sitting in the factory watching it all, and it's like, and obviously I say all this with a pinch of salt because I don't know how it works and what goes on, but I'm from a spectator's point of view, this is just how it seems. Is like they don't seem as in control as other teams do. The teams that have won loads in the past.
True, apart from Ferrari.
Well, Ferrari is Ferrari.
Yeah.
But yeah, you look at Mercedes. They'll argue with the drivers on the radio, but they're like, no, we think this is the best tyre.
And Red Bull with Max,
they'll do the same.
Yeah, he argues with GP all the time.
Anyway, though, we digress. I'm sure McLaren, they've got loads of intelligent people. They know what they're doing. They just need to, I'm sure they will sort it out, and we'll see them winning many more races. Yeah,
for sure. And they are doing the best that they have for years.
Yeah.
So it's one thing to say that about the strategy, and there's another thing to actually see their results. But yeah, it would be good to see them winning more, and for strategy to not be the reason why they aren't winning.
They just need to take their opportunities better.
Definitely. But yeah, Lando and Oscar finished P3 and P4, so
Lando's really beating himself up afterwards.
Yeah.
Which
is a shame, because I feel like he needs to keep his spirits quite high.
Yeah, it's also like I get it. It's like you're a competitor, you want to win every race, and you're kicking yourself if you're on the podium, but you want to do more and you want to do better. But I don't know. I don't really know. I guess you can't really complain about him showing his emotion about it.
No. And he wants to win, so he's going to be disappointed if he's not winning, which he is. Even P3, he's had that taste of winning. He wants more of it, and I think the main thing is as well is the fact that Max Verstappen overtook him and
extended his lead.
Exactly, and extended his lead. Whereas if he'd have finished P3 and Max finished P4, I think he would have been happier to be in P3, because Max would have been behind him and he would have kind of gained that lead, closed the gap between them. But I think it's the fact that his choice to put on that tyre allowed Max to go past him and extend his lead. So now his chances of the championship are getting further and further away from him. And I think that's the main reason why he was upset.
Yeah. I mean, he was very much beating himself up. The interviewers were like, "Oh, come on, P3 it's still good. A couple of mistakes, but you've got to be happy with it. And he's like, no, your time will come. And he's like, oh, I don't want time. I want to win now.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't care. And it's like, it was very blunt and snappy, I guess.
Yeah, sad to see.
Yeah, but anyway, I mean, let's talk about those last laps with Lewis.
Yeah.
Controlled that stint quite well, actually. It was it's quite nervy, especially when Max got Lando.
Yeah, he was quick on those hard tyres. So if there was...
Yeah.
He wasn't really catching Lewis that quickly at all, really.
No, once he got Lando, the gap stayed like sort of around 3 seconds.
Yeah, I think Lewis managed his soft tyres really well. And yeah, I was quite nervous because obviously there were still wet patches on the track, so anything could happen.
Yeah. But yeah, fantastic. When he crossed the line, like Bono was crying.
Yeah.
It was a very nice, emotional reaction
Yeah.
to witness.
Lewis was crying.
Because you could tell, like, a weight had been lifted
Yep.
throughout the team. Because like, he hasn't won since that massive controversy at the end of 2021.
Yeah.
Like,
I think, was it Saudi Arabia?
Saudi, second to last race in 21.
Yep. It's been a long time.
And so, like, with imagine the emotional trauma from that event and not having one since then.
Yeah. That's so true. And I think it's obviously Mercedes can't really give him a world champion, like a chance to win the World Drivers' Championship in his last season. But I think the fact that he's won his home Grand Prix
Yeah.
in his last season with Mercedes,
I believe he's won it 9 times.
his 150th podium with Mercedes, yeah,
It's the most wins at a single track by any driver now.
yep. I think that's like the perfect way to end his season.
Yeah.
But then I wonder if he's looking now, seeing how well the Mercedes car is now doing, and seeing how the Ferrari car is doing.
I don't think so.
No, I don't either. I think he'll be able to drive Ferrari in the right direction. No,
You'd
no,
hope so.
no pun intended by that. But
Yeah. Well, I think this is it. He's probably in his mind got like, the Ferrari's not winning championships in the next couple of seasons, and at least it's a victory lap at the end of my career.
yeah,
Kind of thing. So
Yeah. really great for Lewis.
yeah. And to win your home race as the race of the season, the one he's won the most. Yeah.
Yeah,
Everyone liked that, and it's crazy because obviously he used to win almost every race, and people like hated it when he won.
Yeah.
But everyone loved that fact that he won.
Yeah.
Yes. Yesterday.
it's just iconic because it's the British Grand Prix. Even people that I know don't really watch F1 on a regular basis, I was seeing them post about it, and I thought it was great because great weekend for England because England got through in the Euros and Lewis Hamilton won his home Grand Prix.
But yeah, 1-0 to England.
yeah,
Got to play the Netherlands on Wednesday.
yeah, we'll see. We'll see how that turns out.
Yeah.
Maybe they'll even the score.
Wouldn't be surprised.
No, the way England are playing, but yeah,
Yeah.
great. Great for the British.
Yeah, and he cried a lot. Did the usual victory lap with the flag.
Yeah,
Brilliant.
yeah.
Yeah.
It was nice to see his dad and his mum and dad there.
Mm-hmm.
And his dad seems like such a humble guy.
Yeah.
And he was, really nice to see him thank his family and all that. And it was as if it was his first ever win, the way he was reacting.
I suppose it's sort of like reset his, attitude towards winning. And it's like, you don't really get complacent, but when it's every week, you're like, all right, I'm just doing the job, getting it done, like winning the championship.
I think you see that with Max at the moment.
Yeah,
Obviously he's not been winning every race recently, but I think when Max wins, it's kind of expected in a way.
Yeah, it's like, we did a good job, thanks guys.
Yeah, it's not, the excitement isn't quite there anymore because it's just a normal thing for him. Whereas I think if Max went through that same thing, his win would be as big as this. So yeah, I think obviously Lewis has never had this kind of drought in F1 before where
never.
he's not got the win. So yeah, I'm sure it means so much more because he'll probably would have had a lot of self-doubt and just wondering.
Yeah, he did open up like about his emotional struggles,
Yeah.
mental struggles of it, and it's like fair enough, you know. Yeah.
I saw in the media pen, he was like, this proves, like, if anyone's out there, never give up on anything, because this is just proof that things can work out. So
Yeah.
I liked the message, and yeah, it's great to see.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, we've spoken a long while about that. I mean, we're still gonna go through our predictions.
I know. We haven't even really spoken about the back of the grid either. But should we go through our predictions first and see what comes up?
Let's go predictions.
Okay.
Right. Qualifying. What did you have?
I had in P3 George Russell. Underestimated him a little bit there. In P2, Max Verstappen. Overestimated him a little bit there. And pole position, Lando Norris.
Not quite.
Not quite, no.
But no one expected a front row lockout from Mercedes.
From Mercedes, yeah, no.
I had in P3 Lewis Hamilton.
Okay.
P2 Max Verstappen.
Yep.
And P1 Lando Norris.
Yep.
So, I mean, it's kind of what most, we expected. Maybe, I feel like I was right to call out Hamilton doing well this weekend.
Yeah, you said it in the last podcast. You were like, he's not had a podium at Silverstone for however many years.
In a long time. Always does the job there.
Well, you said earlier, 12 consecutive
So
podiums.
you say, yeah, something like that, yeah.
Yeah.
It's silly.
So yeah, I think that was a good call from you. I think we both predicted a British driver to be in pole. We just got the wrong British driver. But they all were in contention. Like, it could have been either of them. We just didn't expect Max not to be in the top 3 in qualifying.
Well, it was... So, yeah, there hasn't been a top 3 British qualifying since 1968.
Yeah, since the 60s.
South Africa, 1968, apparently.
Wow, 56 years ago.
Quick maths.
And there's never been a top 3 British qualifiers at the British Grand Prix ever.
Yeah.
Crazy. Race. P3, I put George Russell, which was potential if his Mercedes didn't break.
Should have happened.
Shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Well, maybe P2 should have happened.
Yeah. P2, Lewis Hamilton, and P1, Lando Norris.
Close.
So
I had the right top 3 in the wrong order. I put P3 Max Verstappen, P2 Lewis Hamilton, P1 Lando Norris.
Yeah.
So they're all in the wrong place.
They're all in the wrong place. I remember at one point in the race, it was Lando, Lewis, Max, and George.
Yeah.
And I said, if it stays like this now, you've won the predictions. If George takes Max, I've won the predictions.
Yeah.
But
I'm going to take it because I got all 3.
All right, you take it.
Even though they're all in the wrong order.
Yeah, well. Oh, well. Right. Crazy prediction. Bold predictions. Sorry, bold predictions. I put wet race. Correct.
Not that bold.
It's not that bold because England.
Yeah.
It's meant to be summer, though, which is...
The weather's still like that today.
Yeah.
Sunny, rain. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
I put that Norris and Verstappen would come together again. They didn't.
They did not.
But it could have happened.
Yeah,
A couple of opportunities.
Yeah, there was. Max overtook Lando overtook Max.
To be fair, the first time that Lando overtook Max actually just held his line. And it was non-issue, really.
No, good racing from them, to be fair. My second one, Oscar Piastri won't make Q3.
But he did.
I shouldn't have doubted him.
No.
I don't think I doubted him. I just was like, what bold prediction.
Let's throw something out there into the universe, yeah.
I should have put Sergio Perez, but I don't think that's bold anymore.
So this prediction, while not that bold, this wins.
Okay.
Lewis will have a strong weekend.
Well, yeah, right. Okay, you win that one.
Did he have a strong weekend? Did he?
Did he?
Oh yeah, he just won the race.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I would probably give you that one. Yeah, I'll give you that one.
Thanks.
You had a strong weekend.
Thanks.
My third one is, I had 4, by the way. Remember. My third one is, both RBs will beat Sergio Perez.
They did.
Yes, they did.
Well done.
Yuki Tsunoda came in P10 and Daniel Ricciardo came in P13.
Points for Sonoda.
Point.
Yeah.
But they both beat Sergio Perez. I think Sergio Perez came P17.
He did get kind of screwed by the tyres.
He did.
But yes.
But
even so.
he put himself in that position.
Yeah. My third one is there will be a lap 1 incident
No.
on the race.
No. Except Pierre Gasly DNS'd.
Oh, yeah, after all that. Yeah. Changing all those parts and it's like gearbox is gone. Sorry, Pierre. Just retire the car.
Was that the one thing they didn't change?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's sad for Pierre. He had an awful weekend.
Weekend to forget.
Yeah, definitely. And my fourth one was the top qualifier's time will be deleted because of track limits. There wasn't really much track limits from what they said this weekend, but it didn't look like they changed the track a lot. But then again, it was raining, so I'm sure a lot of drivers did go off.
Well, Lando went off at one point.
Yeah, so did Oscar. So did obviously Lewis and George.
Yeah.
Yeah. I also have the stat. I don't know if this was out before Silverstone or after Silverstone, so it could be different now. But Hulkenberg has scored more points in the last 2 races, potentially 3 now, than Perez has in the last 6.
I saw that, yeah. Because, of course, Hulkenberg finished P6.
Yep.
Very, very good effort. And it was a good strategy as well from Haas, in all fairness. They got it right.
Yep.
They are maturing as a team, it
They're
seems.
catching up with RB, right?
Yes, they are.
Great for them. Where did Magnussen go? Magnussen came P12. And Logan Sargent, P11.
Yeah, he was only 9 seconds off getting a point.
Yeah. That's okay. He was in
It's
P11.
good for him.
He was in P11. Do you know what? At one point, I think he was in P13 at the time. I looked at this at where they were, and I saw Logan Sargent P13, and I was thinking to myself, I shouldn't have seen that, because in my head, I'm like, I think, he's doing really well, and when I think he's doing really well, he does something to
be
crash
fair,
out.
yeah, he didn't. He was in a more pressureful.
Okay, new word.
He was under more pressure,
Pressurised.
not being at the back, and he brought it home. No issues.
Not being at the back. Also,
and it was wet.
Wet race.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, he did really well, but I was worried that my thought process would hinder him in a way.
And he was being a good teammate because at the start of the race, he was like, Albon did have an issue. No, there was something to come together at the start. Albon, he got hit.
Yeah, because they thought he had a puncture at one point.
Yeah. But he was behind Albon and he was like reporting on. He was like, something just came off Albon's car.
Yes. True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if Albon had damage and he finished P9.
Well done, Alex.
There you go.
Well done, Logan. Best result of the season so far for him. Be good if he can get some points.
Yes. Well, it's him and the 2 Stink Sauber drivers that don't have points.
Yeah.
And they're the only team that have points. And Williams doubled their points. Alex doubled his points. Now got 4 points.
Yep. Is that the same as Ollie Behrman?
No, he has 6.
Oh. Trying to think who he's level with. I think he's level with someone.
He's, Pierre Gasly.
Isn't Ollie Behrman higher in the F1 championship than he is in the F2 championship?
No, I think it's the same.
Is it?
It's like 14th in both.
Okay. It just shows how different F1 and F2 are, though.
Yeah. Well, he's got to drive next year.
Yeah, we haven't mentioned that yet, actually.
Let's see.
Ollie Behrman. Well, I think I mentioned it at the beginning, maybe. But Ollie Behrman driving for Haas.
Haas, yeah.
Very exciting. New up-and-coming
good for
Brit. Yeah, for sure. He deserves it. It's good to see that we're going to have some rookies next season because we didn't get any this season.
Well, at least one.
At least one. Yeah.
Mercedes might put Antonelli in. Seems they're keen on him. And he did. He also won this weekend in F2.
Did he?
Yeah.
I think I saw that, actually. Does he drive for Mercedes?
Yeah, he's in their academy. He drives for, is it Prima?
Okay.
But he's in the Mercedes academy.
I think there'll be, my prediction now, there'll be 3 rookies next season.
Okay. All right. Do we have anyone else to talk about?
No.
Is that it? Well, either way.
Carlos Sainz? Sorry.
Yeah, he looked good in that last stint, actually. He was on the hards as well, I think.
Solid race from him. We were discussing the other day that 2 years ago, there's a video of him, and this guy at the British Grand Prix was like, yeah, Carlos, P3, yeah? And
Yeah.
Carlos literally, I think
Because
that
I went
was,
up P1.
yeah, he literally had got pole before that video, right? And he was like, why can't I get P1? And he reposted this year, and I thought it was brilliant.
It's jokes.
Good times, Carlos.
All right. Well, this has been it might be our longest video, actually.
I think it is.
So I
Our
think we
longest
should end it
podcast.
here.
Yeah.
What a race.
Yeah.
Please let there be more like that. More fights between the top 4 teams.
Yeah.
Be brilliant.
I would love to see every race. You just don't know who's going to win until the end, till the last
fantastic.
lap.
Yeah. I don't think there's been a season like that since like 2012, 2013.
Yeah, and I wasn't watching F1 back then, so this is very exciting.
Yeah. But let's call it a day there, shall we? Let's end it
Okay.
there.
Okay, let's call it a day.
Wow. So a lot a lot that we've gone over.
Yeah, I'm sure we've missed a lot as well.
Let us know if we've missed anything.
Yeah.
Get involved in the comments. Leave a like, subscribe, all the good stuff. But yeah, we'll catch you next time.
Yeah, for the Hungarian Grand Prix.
Hungarian Grand Prix, the Hungaroring. So yeah, excited for the next race and the rest of the season. But until then, take care. Peace.
Bye.